some stuff.
Next play show. Next play. Week number 79.
Week number 79, man. It's been man, I had a fun weekend, man. I hosted a little girl's sleepover this weekend, and I feel real. Oh yeah, man. I had some little girls at my house. My daughter them been running wild all weekend, and
man, this is one of those things, man.
That's cute.
Yeah,
I've been through it, bro. So.
Hey man, it was wild. They went and played at Get Air for like 6 hours. I was like, man, I'm ready to go.
So we're going to end the success story to 737.
Oh yeah, we got a success story. My success story is this week, man. It's been pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like basically this week, got a lot of stuff done. Still focused on what I'm going on. Got some new stuff going on in my life, man. That's really working out in my favor. And I'll probably talk about that maybe one day. But I'm feeling real good and real fresh and real fine. And it's just been a good week, man. I can't lie. I talk junk about the little girls, but it feels good that people allow me to keep their children and take care of them and feed them and, hope nobody gets sick. Not just playing. But, that's my success story, man. It's been a great couple of weeks, man. I've been busy as crap, so I'm really just kind of settling back down, man, and getting a chance to get my stuff together. It was one thing after another, and now I'm back into the mode of, all right, let's get back focused. But I didn't lose my focus, nor did I drift when I got busy. I just didn't talk to a lot of people. So that's my success story for the week.
All right. Nice.
What's going on, Reggie? What's going on? I'm glad to see you this week, brother. We was missing you.
I made it. I'm tired, but I made it.
I'm glad to know.
Yeah, man.
Go.
People.
Go with Stacy. Stacy, we're going to call Stacy out. What's your success story this week?
Well, I'm here. Number one, that's a success. But the other success is, like I said, I've been working on getting this whole VR thing set up. And so that's why I've been on hiatus for the last couple of weeks. I've just been getting that set up. And it's crazy. I deal with people all around the world. So a lot of crazy hours, crazy times. I got people in Ireland, they're 5+ hours, and people in Australia, they're like between 10 and 12 hours out. So a lot of craziness trying to get some of this stuff together, but it's all good. And, it's all good. And there's money coming in the bank. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's always good.
Just in time for that Amazon discount stock.
That's going to be what, like $125, right?
That's what they're predicting.
Yeah, that's going to be nice. I think it's supposed to split in June.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, look, why are we talking about Amazon?
A while back, didn't I? I tell you guys about both those splits.
I think you told us about Google.
Yeah, Amazon was pretty much vocal about theirs. Google was the one sort of keeping theirs a little hush, but yeah.
Well, did y'all hear about Amazon losing $40 billion?
Yeah.
Did we hear about it? They lost $40 billion. So now the stock finna split, and they just lost $40 billion last week. It just came out they lost $40 billion. So I wonder how that's gonna
pull back, right? Last week.
No. Amazon just reported last week that they lost $40 billion.
That's it. Remember, I told you they were coming out with all that. Remember last week I gave you a rundown.
Yeah.
Everybody's earnings have been coming these last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been up. Well, plenty of them have come down. But the way I see it is just went on sale because when I was first looking at it, remember after I told you guys about when they announced it, that stuff shot up to about 3,800. And now, last I checked, it was about 24, 25, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Amazon's going anywhere. I got a good insight from another person about this that was saying that this is very much like the .com bubble, and they're calling it the pandemic bubble.
Reg, you just said something that's real interesting and good.
And there's a lot of similarities between the two, between the .com bubble and the pandemic bubble. Anything that had to do with the pandemic blew up back in March of 2020. Blew up, and now there's I wouldn't call it a reckoning. It's just an adjustment with a lot of the stuff in the market. Everything from stocks to commodities. I mean, everything is adjusted. But as long as you can, weather the storm between that and the oncoming recession here, that probably not going to happen this year. I'm probably thinking first part of 2023, they're going to declare we're full recession.
Y'all think so?
Yeah, that's kind of what I think, especially with the inverse curve. So they always say after that 10 and 2 year bond yields, after those flip flop, every time in history we've had a recession within the first couple of years of that.
Well, I think we're gonna find out here soon, like what's really going on. Because that's interesting. Because I think, like you, Reggie, all that pandemic money is starting to come out of the market, and that's why we're seeing all these pullbacks that's been happening for the last couple of weeks. Is because the money is actually leveling out. And I also found out another piece of information that I don't know if everybody else knew, but I shared it with Stacy earlier this week. A lot of the money that's actually being pulled back is from one of the hedge fund managers actually being arrested for running a fake hedge fund.
Mm-hmm.
And he lost $40 billion too. So Kathy Wood's ARK fund was part of it. So a lot of the investment companies are actually having a big down year this year because there's so much stuff that went on during the pandemic. So recession, I'm on the fence with that one, but I feel you, Reggie. I do, because ain't no houses out here. I don't think they're gonna push it to a recession just yet. But what everybody else do.
I don't think it's going to happen this year, but I'm thinking by second quarter 2023. Yep. Just write it down. Mark my words. If it don't happen, I'll take those words, put them on a subway, and eat them.
Don't do that.
Negro Damas has spoken.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I just had something interesting that happened. So I was going to do a cash out refi on one of my properties, and the branch manager told me out of his mouth that he was going to do 75% loan to value.
Wow.
And maybe I'll say 3 weeks later, now it's 50% loan to value.
Oh yeah, that's changing fast, bro.
50%.
Yeah.
Just
The
like
real estate mess is changing fast on people.
Yeah.
Interest rates going up 1.5% between the offer being made and the deal getting closed.
Yeah.
Stuff is changing.
Yeah.
And, that's real talk. That happened to me. And I told him I got to think about it now because that 50%, I don't even know if it's even worth my trouble.
I can see that.
What you say, Frank?
I said I can see that. At 50%, because I mean, you really, when you look at it as far as the loan, you really not getting that much. Because I mean, you look at it as if it's 100,000, if your house worth 200,000, they only really giving you, and you got say 150,000. Let's say 100,000, and they only gonna give you 50,000 of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least you got it, Stacy. You got it. That means you won.
Well, no, not really.
What do you mean by that, Ray?
Game is practically over, man. Last I checked, cause my friend, he's with his mama just moved down here from Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to get her house 3 months ago. It's hard enough just getting, putting offers down and stuff like this. And now, all of a sudden, he called me up like 2 days ago. He's like, man, it was 5.5% now.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to sit here for a minute because he's like, yeah, man, it's going to be 8% by the end of the year. Probably before then. Matter of fact, the way things are moving, I say 7-8% by midsummer, by end of summer. And that will change the game. That will change what you're saying about housing right now, Franco. Want some interest rates?
Yeah, they'll stop it.
Because people can't afford as much house. Now, I think in those really hot areas, it's going to affect it, but people are still going to be buying it.
That's just like when the recession hit last time. There were certain areas in Atlanta, right? They never stopped. They kept going.
And the value's going to decrease, of course, but it's not going to decrease like it would in a bad area.
That's very true, but that's going to affect the recession even further because people are going to be digging into reserves that they did not think that they were going to have to dig into to fund these purchases. So people that got that money, that's what Franco was saying earlier, people are now spending the last of that pandemic money. Mm-hmm. So they made some money, but now they're paying the piper to buy anything that even looks or smells like an asset right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, you won because I lost because I never got my hands on a house. And I'm like, I think I'm not even going to bother looking for the next 2-3 years, probably.
You're going to just sit and wait until the market pulls back.
So I got another thing for you.
Take advantage of the market once it pulls back. So
I got another thing for both of y'all. And that is foreclosures are going up. The foreclosures.
Stacy, what I tell you, Stacy?
Is that your news?
No, me and Stacy was talking about that. I said, and I asked him, I was like, when was the last time you checked foreclosure?
I said, I bet you they're going up like crazy. Like people, it's secretly they keeping it real quiet.
They always do.
But the foreclosure numbers are going up really high right now.
That's worth taking a look at because man, back around 09 when everybody was foreclosing, when all those what you call it loans, those
second arms,
those balloon loans were coming due.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was foreclosing. That was the time to buy a house, bro. My best friend got a house up there in Beaufort. Got one of the McMansions. It was foreclosed on. He got it for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah,
super nice neighborhood. He had to put some work in it, but now that thing is worth. I guarantee it's pushing $1 million, and I guarantee he didn't pay more than $2 million for it.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if we're going to have that deep of a pullback like in 08, 09, because that was pretty much a crash where, the market crashed because the houses were inflated, the loans were bad loans, people wasn't paying. Now, I think they're more or less slowing the market down with these high interest rates. So houses will stay on the market a little bit longer. The prices are going to come down, but I think it's going to maybe level off where people could actually make a deal. And so that kind of brings me into my success story. I went to Savannah this morning, just got back a few minutes ago, and did a deal on a property that was a private sale by owner.
Ooh.
And I was able to negotiate $5,000 off the price, but it's a duplex, and the duplex right now has I quote unquote, because of the way the market is, has about 80,000 worth of equity in it with the market prices currently. But I know that can get eaten up quick if the market turns. But took a look at it and got the dude to agree. He said he wasn't gonna go down. So, you know, I was really happy that he did drop the price on it. He didn't have to, but you know, he did. It was already a good deal. So hopefully tomorrow I have a signed contract on it.
So Mr. Rivers.
Yes, sir.
How do you pull off this alchemy? Because all any brother's got to do nowadays, if you got a house or especially an asset like a duplex to sell,
well,
take a Polaroid of it and whisper that it's for sale, and people going to come. How do you keep that? How do you keep him from taking it public and still manage to negotiate down?
Well,
what up with that? Somebody let me know.
Well, this is how it happened. So I was there in Savannah. I was putting a bid on a quadruplex and was just driving around, and I saw the property. I called him because it had for sale by owner, and called him up, and immediately he said, you know, he said he wanted $350 for it, and he dropped it to $320 just over the phone. Yeah, I'll let it, blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh, okay, all right. So when I drove down to, this was Thursday, I think it was. So I drove down today and looked at it, and it needed, the floor needs to be redone because it's low in the back. And I knew I was going to ask him for a discount. I knew he was going to say what the property was worth. I knew all that already, but I knew I was going to ask him to reduce the price. And he was like, you know, well, I already reduced it. I said, I understand, you know. And I just basically used my negotiating skills to reduce it, and just told him, sometimes you got to hit key buttons like I can close quick, you know, I'll take it as is. Things like that, you know, little trigger buttons. And he got to thinking, and he said, okay, I'll do it. And so he called the real estate agent because he was questioning my contract that I had. That's the only reason why I don't have a signed contract today, is because the contract that I printed out had an assignable clause in it. And what happened in the real estate industry, some people will have you put a contract on a property and then turn around and assign it to another buyer. So they could have you sign a contract and then shock your contract to other buyers for a higher price and make money off of it. And he didn't want to do that because he got burnt on the first one like that. And another thing happened, being that the floors were messed up, the last agent brought a buyer who had to be approved by a bank. So one thing people don't know, now the bank will want to send out an inspector to look at the property before they even give you a loan on it. Yeah. And if you know, the bank sees that, you know, the floors aren't right or the roof is leaking or anything, they're not going to approve it. They'll make the owner fix that. So he doesn't want to do that. So, you know, that's how I pulled it off, using some of those tactics and a little bit of leverage.
Cool.
So it worked out.
Crazy.
But it was a success.
So what would make someone like that an owner who has a piece of property like that? What would make him not want to just roll the dice in this market and see what happens and stick with you? Like, I'm trying to figure out what's like what angle are you in the mob?
No, right time, man. Another thing with this guy, he's 70 years old. He doesn't look like he's 70, but he's 70 years old. He has a lot of real estate. He has a couple of other hustles that he do. And this property right here is kind of like a cash cow because it's been in the family for years. So he's going to exit out of this property. He's got some lakefront property he wants to buy, do a 1031 exchange and just exchange out of it.
Huh.
So it's just kind of like timing.
Right place, right time.
Yeah. Right place, right time. And another thing about this property, it has a spot in the back. In Savannah, they have what's called carriage houses in the back where the horse stables used to be and the slaves used to sleep. Well, if you got a carriage house or you had one on the property, you can go back and rebuild one. So a lot of people are taking those carriage houses and convert them into studio apartments. And I plan on.
Say that again for me.
What, a carriage house in the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the properties, they have a carriage house. It's a small house in the back where we're going to convert it, into like a studio apartment. And rent it out.
Yeah, I've done that in the past. I bought a house. It was an upper lower duplex, and it had they called it a mother's home. That's what they called it.
Okay, yeah.
I bought mine up by Chicago, up in the Midwest, and they called it a mother's home.
Okay.
And you could convert it. It took a little bit to convert because, it didn't have any plumbing or anything like that.
Right.
But you put it in and it's on the property and bam, you have another, another 5 to 10% earner.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. We're supposed to close, well, not close, but have the contract tomorrow, and it's off to the races. Trying to beat the recession now.
Yeah.
Trying to beat back the recession, man. Nicole, tell us about the success story you got.
Nicole is doing something new.
Okay. So in my car is so different, trying to get off mute and stuff.
Okay. You want to tell us about this?
You said do what now?
Your success story.
Oh, so my success story.
Yeah.
Okay, so my success story, you all, was so emotional today. And so I didn't understand. Y'all know I sit on the first row at church. So I didn't understand today why I was so emotional at church. I mean, just
Boo-hooing.
like
Your pastor say
super boo-hooing. And then, what happened?
None?
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
Man.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So anyhow, let me go with my little story so I won't have to be interrupted. So anyhow, the message today with my pastor was doing different things and going to unexpected places. And so I was trying to figure out where he was really going with the message. So it was just like a lot of key points in his message that just resonated with me. So when I left out of church today, got my little self together, I ran into another one of my pastors who always prays with me. And I just donated some money for the scholarship fund, right? And ran into the new president of Atlanta Metropolitan College. And I didn't realize that he was at our church today because our pastors was praying over him because he just got appointed as the new president. And so as, my pastor talked about this message, I understood why I was so full and emotional today, because Atlanta Metropolitan was where I started. And it was at the time Atlanta Metro was a junior college. So when I went up to Atlanta Metro, it was a junior college, which now Atlanta Metropolitan is now a 4-year institution. And my pastor was talking about share your testimony and blah, 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 blah. And so just different people were sharing their testimony. So I shared my testimony with one of my pastors today. And I explained to him, you know, I was homecoming queen, very popular, very smart in high school. And no one would have ever thought that Nicole Tubner didn't know which way she was going to go when she graduated from high school. Out of all of my friends, everybody had gotten accepted to their colleges. And I was still like, what am I going to do? And, you know, my parents were pressing when my mom was pressing for me to go to the Navy. And I cried with the recruiter because I told him that's not what I wanted to do. And he was like, don't do what your mom wants you to do. Whatever your dreams are, you do what you want to do. And I explained to him how it was so late. Everybody had been accepted to college. And then I didn't know where I was going to go and what was I going to do. So now I'm going to have to wait a whole year or whatever. And I just did whatever. And so with that message today, like it was like an encouragement even to not just me, but for anyone who would hear my testimony or anybody else's testimony, where just because you don't know and you're blinded on your journey and you don't know where you're going to end up, you just got to be able to trust God, and you just got to be able to trust the process along your journey. And for me to walk out of church and to see that Atlanta Metropolitan College was set up, you know, at my church, and they have a new slogan now, but the slogan when I was a student was a smart place to start. So the pastor wanted me to meet the president. He was like, you got to meet her because she was a former student. And, you know, and I told him, I said, sir, I have 4 degrees now. But when I started there in 1999, I wasn't for sure which direction I was going to go. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what my path or my journey looked like. And so I didn't know what I was in there crying about. I didn't know if I was crying about my relationship statuses. I didn't know what I was crying about, but God showed me what it was when I walked out of church today. He was just like, you're walking in your purpose, and your purpose was already destined for you when you walked into Atlanta Metropolitan in 1999. And I said, and it's a lot of my friends, you all, who went to these 4-year colleges in 1998, and today they still don't have a degree. And today, you can't want anybody else's journey. You can't want what somebody else had. You have to want what's planned for you because it's already mapped out. And just to see my old institution, and I still fulfilled everything that I wanted to do. I still pledged into a sorority. I still did all of those things. And I often just really encourage young people, it doesn't matter where you start, it's how you finish. And so that's my 10-minute success story.
Hey, you said a mouthful right there. It ain't how you start, it's how you finish. That's right. That's right. I'm with
Go ahead, Sam. You on the mic.
That's nice.
Oh,
And then when you tell them, it's where you at.
I don't have a success story today. It's just that I made it through this week. I put it like this. I'm headed for a grand slam, though, in tennis terms, and headed for a grand slam, but I don't quite have it finished yet. But, bruh, it's like almost game, set, and match. I'm telling you. I'm this close, and I don't want to share it until it comes through tuition, you know, so. In the stock market, and I've been keeping my ears to the news line for y'all. So later on, when y'all come on back, I got some information for y'all. I'm gonna let Krista go ahead on and tell us her success story.
Stacey, I had a question. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
Are you going to do you do a hot property management, or do you do it yourself?
Me personally, right now, I do everything myself as far as managing the properties. But as far as like repairs and stuff like that, I got just technicians that I've built relationships with over the years. I can just call them, and they'll go and take care of anything that needs to be done.
Because my husband, he on the fence post. We don't know if he want to do. He said he don't want to break even every month, but we're not from Sumter, and it's a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, well, he could probably 2 hours. Yeah, I would just build some relationships with some contractors. And the key, I'm gonna tell you, the key to getting a contractor to do what you want him to do is to pay him as soon as he finishes the job. As soon as he finished, put his check in the mail. And that way, whenever you have a problem, he's going to move you to the front of the line because he knows he's going to get his check as soon as he invoices you. That's a little trick that I learned. So, but that's what I've been doing. But now when I first started, I did do a lot of the stuff myself. But, you know, over the years, I just use contractors because I had some properties. I had 4 properties that were 2.5 hours away. And sometimes I never saw those properties for years.
But you built relationships in that town.
Yeah, I built relationships. Like I might build a relationship with the electrician. And then from the electrician, I get a plumber, I get a roofer, I get somebody who does carpet cleaning. And then I'll just build relationships. So now I got 4 people that I could ask, do you know a plumber? Do you know a roofer? And I just put them all in my Rolodex. So if someone calls me and say that AC is not working, then I'll just go in my phone to Augusta AC, and I got 4 or 5 technicians, and I just go down the list. I call all of them. And whoever can get there the quickest, I'll send them, they repair the problem, I'm done. And normally with the properties, you may not have any problems. It might be a year, it may be 6 months before you have any issues. You know, case in point, I got a new tenant who just moved in, and she said that the shelves are missing in her refrigerator, right? In the freezer. And I'm like, well, I didn't know. So, but what I told her, I said, well, look, take a picture of the freezer, take a picture of the model number. That's all I need. She sends me that. I can go online to Amazon, find the shelves. I could drop ship them to her.
Right.
Never have to send a technician out. So I never have to pay a service call. I just got to pay for the parts.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just a property that we purchased in Sumter. We actually we purchased the land separately, and then we purchased the trail. I think I told you all about it.
Yeah. You already.
We're all settled. Everything's gone through. So now we just got to decide. He was trying to decide if he want to do property management or if he want to do it himself. But considering the fact that it's 2 hours away.
If the property's in pretty good shape, you shouldn't have any issues.
It had to be because there was nothing on the property, and we had to make it ready for the trailer to be pulled onto it. So yes, everything is good on it. It's nothing. We're just looking at like maintenance issues with the trailer because it was repossessed. So it's in a good area. I mean, the trailer is in good condition, but we just want to have some, people in place because my husband has to travel at times. I don't know nothing about none of that.
Right.
So we're just trying to figure out, like, which way should we go?
You can YouTube it.
Well, I think Mr. Rivers is right, Sequesta.
No,
I think Stacy's right on this because if you do property management, especially on something as small as a trailer, they're going to want their cut on top of getting all the contractors and things like that because they have people. So it's better to just, I don't think that you're there yet where you need property a manager of that property. So you just keep people on your Rolodex, the right set of people on your Rolodex, so when things come up, they can be handled,
accordingly,
expeditiously, and then you'll be all right. Now, once you add 3-4 more of those trailers, and all of a sudden you're at a small trailer park, that's when you need to start thinking about, it might be time to get somebody to do actual property management.
I think we're going to do Collinson County next, Stacy. I don't think we're going to go. Collinson County got a lot of properties.
Oh, you can also look at Craigslist too.
Oh, I forgot about Craigslist. I got an opportunity to buy a laundromat, but it was so quick. Oh, it was just so
it's gone.
That ain't nothing but money. A laundromat, but
let me tell you, that thing was quick. Like the guy had told me, he said 50,000 cash right now, and I'll just sell you everything. I'm like, I can't do it like that. I gotta come see the machines. I can't I gotta make sure it's $50,000 worth of machines in there. I just can't write you a check for $50,000. I've been through this before. I can't do that.
You really need to do your due diligence on a lot of these cash-based businesses.
So that's why I was like, nope, I had to, hold it. I have I got a mentor. So we decided that we needed to do some more digging. And while we was doing the digging, somebody came with a bag full of cash. Whatever it was, I don't know what it was. The asking price was $150, but he had told me that weekend if he could sell it for $50,000, it was gone. So I don't know.
Business or the building and the business.
So later on, I found out he does not have an LLC. So it's just an asset, just the machines, not the business.
Yeah.
And another kicker, he had no information. No information.
Yeah,
I think he was smart.
I think you dodged the bullet.
Yeah, no. Any profit and loss, no nothing. But I did my inventory, and I would have, even if I'd have went in and sold all the machines, I still would have got $50,000 for it. But I had to do that over the course of the weekend, and that's the weekend he wanted the cash deal. So by the time we got to Monday, it was gone.
But I just want to go ahead, Reggie.
The thing is that when you're dealing with cash-based businesses, I've dealt with them in the past, is you have to really do your due diligence because people look for things like that. And the guy, number one, that's a big red flag saying, hey, I want 50,000 cash right now. If you can give that.
Well, I didn't get the ins and out, Reggie, of it. It was his father was sick. It wasn't just like he was just selling it just to get money. He had a story behind it. I went and talked to the wife. I talked to the son. Okay. He had a story. So, I mean, it wasn't like I dare not put myself in that situation. But he did have a story, and it was a legitimate story. I went and talked to the wife. I talked to him because he was in another state, and his wife was exhausted. She was working 2 jobs. She was working a laundromat, which he was working, and her regular job, day in and day out for 7 days for 3 weeks. She was exhausted. So that's why they was just trying to get rid of it because she just can't do it. She just can't do it another day. It's just too much. And she got to go see him in the hospital after she get out of the laundry. She come from the laundromat, lock it up at 8:00. Then she got to go to the hospital and check on him for a couple of hours. She said, I can only do a couple of hours and I got to be back home because I got to be back to open the laundromat up at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. So yeah, it was legitimate. It's just that I just wasn't going to take the risk without seeing if it was $50,000 worth of working machines.
Well, that shout out to you.
But it was a lesson learned.
Overcoming your emotions because it sounded like a good deal.
It did.
But you had to due diligence.
Yeah. I had to contact a lawyer. I had to due diligence written up by the lawyer, and it was moving fast, but I still had to be careful because I wasn't getting ready to. I'm not going to write a check for $50,000 and then I'm stuck.
Yep. Stuck like Chuck.
Yeah. So
it's a
it is what it is. That's my second practice.
It's a crapshoot, and there's some great deals to be had by just being the right person in the right place with cash on hand. But a lot of times, them deals don't necessarily work out. Or sometimes there's a monkey wrench. A lot of times, a legal monkey wrench. Maybe a tax lien or something nobody talks about. All kinds of mess like that. So got to do your due diligence, especially cash-based. People use these cash-based business to launder money too. Feds might be trying to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know, seen Ozark? That was the main way they did.
Oh, that's my favorite show.
I don't know what
Ozark. Okay.
Really.
Ozark.
That's it for me, guys. So anybody who's next?
So, Quest, I want to ask you a quick question. So, was the people you were talking to, those are the people who they had foreclosed on this property? It was a foreclosed property?
What you mean? What foreclosed property on what? The laundromat?
No, the trailer.
Oh,
the property you were just talking about.
The trailer was repossessed.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So he purchased it from, might have been the bank.
Okay, your husband.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it trashed when he purchased it from the bank?
No. It was in good condition. Really, he was going to do it without even going down there, and the bank was like, no, you need to go look at that trailer. And I told him, I was like, why would you even want to go further with this and you not go look in the trailer to make sure it's good? So he went and looked in it, and it was fine. He only had to do some minor work. We just got to get like a a stove, I think a refrigerator, something else we need to get. And that's it. And we didn't have to do anything major to it.
Okay.
Is the land, can you add more trailers on the land?
No.
You got the trailer and the land?
Separately.
Oh,
the trailer was purchased on an auction.
Mm-hmm.
The land was purchased on an auction. The trailer was purchased like I think it's the same thing, like a repossessed with the bank.
Okay.
So it's probably, my husband stays on GovDeal, so it's probably somewhere up in there. He does all them government things, so it's probably somewhere up in there.
Okay.
So how much are you involved in the purchase and the due diligence when it comes to purchasing deals like that with the land and the trailer?
How much am I involved?
Yeah. What's your part in the purchasing?
So this one, believe it or not, y'all, we did about 5. This one I had to sit through. They made me sit through. They made me go to the closing for this one because it was a trailer. I don't know why. What she explained to us why it was so different, but this one I had to sign off that it was okay for him. So I did have to sit through this one. But most of the deals that we do, he does a lot of it. We talk about it and we discuss what we're going to do, but he does he has the closings down. He can go to a closing because he's been about 5 or 6 and do it line by line and know what's coming, what they're going to say. So he's more good at it than I am. But he does come back and talk to me, and we talk about like what we're going to do, what's our next step, what should he do. And he actually asked me to ask that question probably weeks ago, and I didn't. So I was like, well, let me ask it now since you brought it up, Stacy. But that's kind of like how I go. I'm kind of like who he comes to when we need to discuss, but he go back and he makes pretty much all the decisions as far as with the people and, anything that we have a pact and a rule that certain things we discuss before we make a move. And so he'll come and we'll discuss those things before we make a move. And then we have a money amount behind it as well. And then after that, then we move forward.
Cool. Sounds like it's a good understanding.
I do know a good understanding of it. Yes, I do.
I'm proud of you, Sequester.
Yeah, me too.
I'm super proud of both of y'all because of the simple
fact, both of y'all.
The way you just described how you and your husband work together is
as a team
is the most beautiful thing I've heard in probably the last 5 years of my life. Because you just sat there and said, well, most women will be sitting there fighting.
It's a struggle.
Just to try to say, you can't, you ain't making no decision for me. I want to know everything going on, and
it's a power struggle.
No, y'all got to understand. I'm on the flip side. Yeah, I'm on the flip side with my stuff I got going on. So we come together and talk.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we disperse.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yep. What do twins activate?
Yeah, that's it.
What'd you say, Reggie?
Activate.
I'm officially a hater.
That's good. Did you say you was a hater?
I said I'm officially a hater. Y'all
Why?
Good. I need a teammate like that.
How you gonna hate, Reggie? How you gonna hate? You can't die now. You can't hate on that.
Just cause.
Is it just cause?
It's a happy hate. It's happy hate.
Yeah, but that is Sequester. Kudos to you and your husband because that's the way it's supposed to be. It is. Yeah, I watched my parents do that. And so it is mind-boggling when people ask me, why are you still single? Because I haven't met my daddy. You know what I'm saying? So that's very, very important. I mean, it explains why my parents were married for 30 years. So, I think that's good stuff.
Nicole, no, I know your daddy may be up in the upper room, but you can't meet your daddy and another man.
You can't, but it's not even that. It's qualities. So it's qualities. And that's the same thing for a woman as well. It's certain qualities that people should possess. And I think that, communication is key. That's number one. So you can tell that Sequester and her husband, they communicate with one another. That's the key.
We're gonna put Sequester on. We're gonna put Sequester and her husband on the show, and they're gonna talk about how they do it. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna interview both of them, and we're gonna put it out there. Black love exists.
I think that would actually be nice. I think it'd be nice to see a team do some work.
Hey,
I agree.
We're gonna get a recording and watch y'all work. Do we get the funny parts where y'all argue too? We gotta have outtakes so we can put it on the internet. You know, they ain't gonna believe y'all too perfect.
Oh no, ain't no perfectness now. We
It sure will.
we got we have some arguments now. Because I ask a why question in a minute. Like, why are you doing it like that? But
How long you been married, Sequesta?
ooh, let's see. I've been married since 2010, but my husband and I've been together since 2000.
Wow. That's like 2 decades. That's awesome.
So yeah, we've been together for a
Awesome.
while.
Y'all been together since you was 5 years old.
Oh my God. All this will
No.
shade.
No, not 5. But almost straight out of high school.
He heard
So
that.
Sequesta,
He
I
called- he
agree with
called
what Frank
dibs
said.
real
That's
quick.
beautiful.
Dibs.
I got dibs on that one.
Yeah, he
Well, y'all know
called
my
dibs
husband was in the
real quick.
military too, so a lot of that he spent a lot of it away.
But still.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a long-term away. It was he worked he had a special duty, so he would be gone 2 weeks at a time. And he would go to all these different countries and come back, but it was only like a 2-week period.
Your husband a Navy SEAL. He be flying out in the deployment.
Sorry.
My husband was a jet engine mechanic. I was not a Navy SEAL.
Man, you can't tell him he was Secret Service.
You got access to all them programs and stuff too, right?
Sequesta, tell your husband the group trying to put him on the show.
He don't mind.
Sequesta, just tell him, hey, all that's G13 classified. Can't tell him.
Well, certain things, of course, we can't talk about, but of course, we could tell the majority of it. It's old now. He's probably retired now, like what, probably 5 or 6 years.
That's all right. That's all right.
Listen, our phone was only bugged during that time. After that, it's done.
You know stuff that people shit. Don't tell. Don't tell.
Yeah, we do. But we know what not to tell.
They got government groups that don't even have alphabets no more. They just call black. I don't know nothing about it. I don't know conspiracy theories. I don't want. You might slip around and say a name, and next thing you know, you see you just fall down. Bam.
No, it ain't like
yeah,
that.
man. But congrats, Sequesta. Plus, y'all got. I'm sure y'all got access to like all them nice VA programs and stuff like that too for investing.
VA programs like what?
Yeah, like the VA loans and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, we do the VA loans and
there's a ton of programs.
Yeah, they do have different programs if you want to, franchise. You want to get into franchising and stuff like that. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, my best friend's retired Air Force. He don't do nothing without having a VA program, some type of VA program sign off on it.
So yeah, they do.
That's awesome. Just another reason for me to hate.
Oh, Reggie.
There's no reason.
All right, man.
What you got for us, Sam, in the news?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I got some juicy news for you, man.
All right.
All right. As far as the college kids and stuff going to school and stuff during the pandemic and everything, the government is looking into basically cancellation of some of these debts for us, the college students, up to a certain amount. Of course, you got some Democratic representatives that are pushing for $50,000, which would help out. They're saying at least 80% of minorities and people of color. But the Republicans are trying to say, hey, that's too much. And we think 10 is going to be enough, which will address 90% of the people, that are basically being affected by the pandemic and the rising cost of the college education and everything else. So that's one part of my news. So maybe coming down the line, maybe by the end of the year.
Take advantage of it.
Time for election, but it's coming.
Yep.
So I'm saying, hey, thank God, because Gabriel finished in 2 years. That's election time, same time. So
so he may be able to get his.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
there's a God somewhere.
Push it through. They're going to try and push it through within the next year, right before elections.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a God somewhere. He working in my favor.
Awesome. They get rid of those
I agree, Sam, with that. Okay,
Yes,
so let me make sure I'm clear. So they're trying to deduct some of these student loans.
yeah, they're trying to cancel some of the debt, some of it, not all of it, but some of it. Some of them wants $50,000 to come off of it, and some of them, the Republicans want 10, like 10,000 of it. Either way, it's a win. I mean, it's less money they'd have to pay.
Yeah.
Back. I would love for them to say 50. I'm telling you.
Yeah, Biden made that promise when he was running.
Did.
He did.
He did. He did.
It was supposed to be up to 100.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah,
then.
he did. He did.
Well, some of my friends did receive cancellations.
Because of the pandemic, you got some friends still in college?
No, well, no. So just last week, our superintendent sent an email to us, and they were really encouraging employees to go ahead and make sure that you, if you did the public loan forgiveness, because see, at one point we wasn't able to get the public loan forgiveness. It was like for like police officers and stuff like that. So I don't know what the federal government went back in there, and I don't know what they've done, but now they're wanting people to reapply. So one of my friends, he did the 10 years, and I saw his letter, and so they wiped all the rest of those student loans off. But see, he's been paying on those loans for 10 years. Like for me, I'm in the income-based thing. Yep. So my loans are $13 a month, but they're $13 a month on a $65,000 a year salary. I don't make that anymore. So, because with the pandemic, everything has stopped and shut down with our student loans or whatever. So I don't know. I have to send them my new salary, and I'm for sure it's not gonna be $13.
You need to start snitching on yourself. You gonna
snitching?
Yeah, you telling on yourself. Anybody listening, don't nobody know you. Listen, you got
what? I mean, $13.
But you don't tell them people you make more money. If you got $13, keep paying that $13.
Oh no, I'm honest.
It don't work like that, Franco. I wish it did.
Because they can pull up my money. When she told me how much I made, I'd rather just be honest and just deal with and pay whatever I have to pay before. That's all I was paying was $13,000 because I'm in a program. But $13.
IDR, baby. You don't mess with it, Franco. Don't mess with student loans and child support.
Hey,
right.
I got some student loans y'all can pay. Y'all want to pay them.
All right.
I want to pay mine.
All right. Hey, on another note, on the second story of the day, Fidelity. They want to add Bitcoin to their 401k plans to their customers. Now, this is a first timer, and actually the government got involved and say, hey, we don't know if y'all can do that right now, but Fidelity is offering it. So now they're sort of in this little tug of war type thing, telling them, hey, the guidelines if they're going to do this or not. But I would consider this the first domino in a chain. This is the first domino. Fidelity is big time. And they're offering Bitcoin in a 401k plan. That's just telling you something that hey, they already see the future. They already see the future. I'm telling you. And here's the second part of that story. And my last story for the day. Get this. Goldman Sachs. There's this gentleman. He bought a house with cryptocurrency through Goldman Sachs. What he did, and I know you're wondering, how in the heck did he do that? Here's what he did. He took $200,000 in stable coin. He used that as collateral. Goldman Sachs took it as collateral and turned around and gave him a loan for $500,000. And he bought the house with it.
Wait a minute, say that again?
So Goldman Sachs accepted $200,000 in stable coin as a security, as collateral. Then they turned around and gave him a $500,000 loan.
And you know the bank only gives you loans on real estate.
Exactly.
Never.
So
not
anything
even
that's collateral, they get considered collateral. And what I'm trying to drive you to is that a stable coin is a cryptocurrency, but I guess it's more stable than all the rest. It's not volatile.
Yeah,
but they accepted it.
A stable
But
coin.
they accepted it as collateral. This is like the other domino falling. Man, all this stuff is getting ready to take effect. And remember what I said last week. I said the crypto area is real quiet, and there's a reason for it. Something's going on. And here it is today. I found out about this. It's happening. Hey, don't fall. All I'm saying, don't fall. I say it again. Don't fall asleep on the crypto. It's happening, and it's happening right before your eyes. Your eyes wide shut. It's what's happening. And that's my news for today. Any question?
Well, you know the craziest thing what you just brung up. I'm gonna post it on Next Play this week. Jordan Belfort, the guy that they wrote the Wolf of Wall Street. I was watching him this weekend at the Jump House, and he had a little thing that he did, like a conference. And it's crazy that you talk about that because they're actually he announced, he was like, man, regulation is good for cryptocurrency because back in the day he was explaining about he made all his money out of junk bonds. And when they regulated junk bonds, he was so surprised that once they regulated it, he made more money from the regulation than he did making it in the secondhand market. And so, cryptocurrency ain't going anywhere. It's just, they getting all the money out of it until they figure out how to use it. Because for somebody to buy a house with stablecoin, because a stablecoin is just a coin that really is supposed to be backed by $1. So he really bought it with dollars, but because they tax cryptocurrency as property, that's how you get taxed on it as property. I guess that's how he was able to get them to secure the loan. Just like Stacey and you said, like they usually only give it to you on assets that's property. So that's actually a good thing because if somebody could do that, then you can actually use your cryptocurrency as an asset.
There you go.
Yep. That's what I'm trying to get you to see.
It's only 3 swipes to take your Bitcoin and to convert it to stable coin.
Yeah.
So Sam, I have a quick question from your story with your second point with the Bitcoin. So, I mean, is that a good idea to tie that into your 401k?
No.
I would say, I mean, now I'm not a financial advisor. I would advise that, hey, consult a professional. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I would. I mean, simply because of what we know so far and what we've been studying, I would definitely do it. If that was one of my options in a 401k. But you do know that I definitely don't prefer a 401k. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I know you're not saying a 401k. I was just asking because, for me, that just seems like a big risk. That
I'm gonna go.
You're still at risk right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's just it.
You're still at risk.
Yeah, it is a risk.
Yeah,
I agree. Right. I just think because I don't think that Bitcoin and all this crypto stuff I don't think it's been around for a long time. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, because we talked about the Bitcoin before, I think.
The American
and when it was founded or whatever.
Around that long, it really, truth would be told, it hadn't been around too long. The crypto, the dollar bill, it hadn't become a world power since like 50 years ago when they interacted and made it exchangeable. I did a story on that too when they started using it to buy oil with and made it a world currency. And that was 50 years ago. When they became
pushing 20. Crypto's pushing 20. As a guy that now spend about 2 hours a day in the metaverse, literally. And the way that I think that someone like yourself should view Bitcoin is it's no different than any other investment. It's just another hedge. Okay, so you don't don't get yourself all that, ridiculously involved. But if it is, especially if, if these big players, get into it, I've got a fun with Fidelity, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to go on there and look this week to see if it's available. And the reason is I don't want to go throw all my money in Bitcoin. I don't got a whole lot of money in any of these coins. I think I told you guys a while back about how you can get online and you can kind of learn about stuff and get some of these coins. And that's a good thing. But I have very, very little in the coins because I'm still a little bit apprehensive too. The same way that guys a generation beyond me got, I've got some old codger friends. They're like, man, I got all my money in gold and silver and it's buried in the backyard. I don't believe in these dang stocks. I don't want no paper. This paper ain't gonna pay my bills. That kind of stuff. And I feel the same way about Bitcoin. It's like, man, I own stocks, things like that. That stuff is highly liquid. I don't know about this Bitcoin. Bitcoin could flip any day now. And if you lose your key, there's a lot of things like that. So it's going to take a while for it to catch on. But what he was just talking about was these two dominoes that fell just are letting you know that it's becoming more and more acclimated to mainstream. So if you have the ability to add it, and if it's, like I said, like I always say, sandwich money. And the beauty of Bitcoin is, and all these cryptos is you can, all that stuff started out as fractional shares. So you don't have to worry about spending, 30 grand on a Bitcoin or 3 grand on an Ethereum, so on and so forth. You can just DCA in, dollar cost average and just make it part of just making another selection in your your Fidelity portfolio. Whereas, no, you don't put it all in Bitcoin, but if it becomes available, if I see it become available, I know I wouldn't mind maybe putting 10% or so in it because it's high risk, but high risk comes with high reward. So worst case scenario, you lose that 10%, but best case scenario, that 10% blows up tenfold and then some.
Yeah.
And that's my best play for somebody who's not knee deep in it. And the thing is, I'm kind of knee deep in it because I'm out here in the metaverse all the time now.
Okay. All
Sounds
right.
like a plan. That's all the news for you got from me.
Oh yeah. I just want to make sure, hey, everybody understood about this crypto. And it's like, hey, it ain't going away. Now, of course, everybody knows last week was hectic in the stock market game because of all the reportings. I gave y'all a rundown on it. I hope you guys found some plays in it. I hope you didn't lose your shirt in it. But hey, at least you know it was coming. And hey, I do know, as a matter of fact, Tesla is down to $900 something a share. So,
Elon
it did a pullback. He sold about what?
He sold about $40 million worth of, $8 billion worth of shares.
Yeah.
So, he sold $1 billion worth of shares of Tesla. This past week. Yeah, he sold I think $8 billion worth of Tesla stock got sold this week.
Yeah, fun is more of his stupid projects, but that's all right. Tesla.
Did y'all? I'm sorry. Did y'all see his Twitter post about he thinks that he should build a club in Atlanta?
Oh no.
Build what club?
I don't know. He's saying he's gonna build a club so people can dance.
Y'all gotta realize, like, when you look at Elon Musk is not like he is the reverse of everybody else. I mean, when a lot of those tweets and stuff that he put out, it's really just to not make him a hole. He's just having fun because he got a whole lot of money. He got a whole lot of influence. You know what I mean? And so, he put out one. He gonna buy Coca-Cola and put the cocaine in it. It's really humorous. It ain't really real. You know what I mean? It's just so he can keep up a stir and keep everybody talking about it. That's his way of promotion.
He said he gonna put cocaine back in the coke.
Yeah, he said he put.
I need a couple bottles of them.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I'm done for tonight.
Yeah,
Just
a lot
joking.
of that stuff, man,
I
it's
know.
just promotion.
So what is his interest in Twitter?
Trying to privatize it so it doesn't become so much of a part of the media landscape, and it's not under the same scrutiny as everybody else.
Oh.
I mean, it's
Oh yeah, I
crazy.
think that it was just for fun what he posted. I didn't take it back for real.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. When I think like I follow Elon a lot. I'm gonna tell you something. Like the guy really has a very innovative mind, and although it may be hard to see on some levels, I mean, you got to realize like he's brought a lot of products. PayPal, for instance. Like we wouldn't have PayPal, for him. And like somebody told me a long time ago, there are people out here that really believe they can change the world. It may not be for the good, but he's one of those people that's actually trying to change the world. And believe it or not, Elon don't have a whole lot of houses. He don't have a whole lot of just crazy expensive stuff. He lives, I ain't gonna say like a commoner, but he lives like the regular man. He don't have a whole bunch of $1 and $1 billion house, yachts and stuff like that. So that's what a lot of it is him just kind of being to the people. Now he may have some of this stuff that's not disclosed. He may not own it. He just don't, other things could be there and true. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about Elon Musk, when you really go look at him, he's a European guy that basically is trying to
be an average Joe.
Yeah, he's trying to be an average Joe. He's trying to fit in with the regular people at the same time, make change. I mean, he does some really wild, crazy stuff and stunts, but a lot of it is really he's more showing how billionaires can actually get what they want. And
well, in nationality, the way to become richer is to study the masses, and the only way you study the masses is to be engulfed in them, to actually understand what they are going through. Mm-hmm. So he's playing it really smart if he's trying to really get closer to his subjects to find out how he can profit from them.
You got to realize,
educational study.
Tesla employees are the most well-paid employees there are. Like all his companies, even the Boring Company that he made, the flamethrower, and then Solar City. Like you got to realize he pushed solar panels to where they are now. So a lot of people criticize him, but a lot of the things that are being innovated now are really a part of Elon Musk putting it out there. I mean, the solar panel thing, he makes the batteries that can run your whole house off a Tesla solar battery that fits in your house. That's one of the biggest costs in solar is the batteries to be able to run the solar project off of. So it's
I'm sorry, I was about to say, for what it's worth, Elon Musk will be in history. He will be spoken in the same terms as Thomas Edison. What's his name?
Isaac Newton. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah. He's done that much already. That's if
Washington Carver.
Yeah.
If he died today, he would still go in the books like that. Yeah. Because we haven't even talked about that. The cars. He runs it kind of like, he's like a dealer. He's using the cars. The cars in Tesla are just a money generator for the time being so that he can fund all these other projects. You already mentioned the Boring Company, the Solar City. Talk about world change. The satellite. If you look up on a clear night, you can see Elon's internet satellites right now. He has a series of them.
Starlink.
Yeah.
Well, they got a hypertube or something too, though.
The masses.
Yeah.
That's that's world-changing stuff. And the cars are just the beginning. And like I said when I first came on here, in Elon Musk, I trust, even though he's crazy, and he truly is crazy. He's on the spectrum.
Yeah, he is.
But the thing is that number one, the company is too big to fail. So it's right now, I would consider it a pretty darn safe investment. And there's too many heads on that tetrahedron, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, for it to be doing anything. And I'm so happy that I bought him, because I'm hearing rumors that Tesla might be doing a 20-to-1 split. I don't know if has anybody heard of those rumors?
Everybody's going to split. Doing a bear market. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, I like to point out, Stacey.
If he does a 20-to-1 split, then I'm able to play options on Tesla. So that's craziness. But yeah, man, Tesla is Elon and Tesla, kind of one and the same, but Elon was doing it long before Tesla with X.com, which ultimately turned into PayPal. Then he parlayed that money. Like I said, man, it's still too early in the game for people to be doing biopics, because if you try to do a biopic on him, by the time it comes out, he's done something else that's world changing. So,
yeah. One thing about Tesla, if you wanted to order a new one, right, you gotta get it from the manufacturer. Yep. You gotta get it. So Elon pretty much is eliminating the whole car dealership thing.
It's made to order.
You order it from the manufacturer.
That in itself was a huge deal, because the dealers, the whole idea about car dealers, that's legislation. And Elon spent years fighting this legislation to be able to sell his cars without having dealers. I literally, there was a special on that. I think like a 60-minute special on that about Elon fighting the legislation, because the whole idea behind car dealerships is the only reason that they still exist is because there's generations of legislation in place keeping them up, because everybody would love to eliminate the middleman and go to that now, but that is not that's not the case. The only people that have been able to do it is Tesla.
And I mean, even with the way the whole car dealership is set up right now, I mean, I think basically the way he's doing it is more of the energy, the going green initiative. It works better. I mean, you don't build a car until you have a need for it. Well, you used to go drive by and see all these cars on the car parking on the lot. That's a bunch of waste to me. I'm like, I'd rather just go ahead and order a car the way I want it, and it's delivered, and I'm good.
You got to take a thing in consideration. That really wasn't what Elon Musk was like. What Reggie said, I knew about what Reggie said when he fought all these people. What it was, you got to remember that Tesla is a tech company, so they basically they wanted to be able to sell the cars to be able to manage. Like when you go buy a Tesla, if you really read about Tesla, like Tesla cars can order their own parts when they go bad.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They wanted to operate. They wanted to be able to sell it like a product, like Microsoft sell Windows. That was like one of the biggest things. Is like they didn't want to have all these extra people that could be charging all this extra money, and they wanted to try to keep it the affordability of it.
Man, do you know a Tesla car can repo itself? It'll drive itself back.
Mm-hmm.
It can brick itself like a phone.
Yep.
It'll brick itself
it'll come right back. They can come get the car without even going there.
Yeah, there's some dark sides to it too, and also, Tesla says that it's doing it in the name of humanity, but there's a business end to it too, because he's keeping all that stuff in house, and that's why they're winning right now. Everybody trying to make an EV right now. I just saw the new Hummers that are for sale are going on sale. They're supposed to be 120,000. They are selling on the market now for over $300,000.
What? I saw a couple of new Rivias.
Because nobody can get them, and all these chips and all these chip shortages and stuff like that.
I saw a couple of Rivias to last week on the road.
A Hummer for $300,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All these cars.
You gotta understand, back in the day when Arnold Schwarzenegger made Hummer popular, they was 150, 200,000.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess you know what? I've never been like into that truck like ever. So that's probably why I'm just like, really 150 for that?
Yeah, back in the day, the
And who makes Hummer?
The Ford Lightning, the Ford Lightning, which is the Ford EV, the
GM.
Ford Lightning is selling for about $100,000, and it's
And what is that?
Just the EV truck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the truck we talked about before, right?
No, that's the higher version. The regular one that I talked about a few weeks back.
Yeah.
That one is now selling at a premium, and you can't get those for less than $50,000.
I mean, the car market is just as worse as the housing market.
It's a $20,000 car.
Y'all missing it. Y'all missing it.
Got money?
Y'all missing it. Y'all.
What are we missing?
No, we're not missing it. It's just like the housing market.
No, y'all missing it. We're getting older, and the economy is evolving. Just like when we was younger, our parents used to say, "Oh, things cost so much money now," and that's the same thing that's going on right now. You know what I mean? The prices of things are slowly inching up. Just like when old people say, "Oh, bread used to be 50 cents, now it's $3." This is the same thing we're going through,
right?
And we're trying to we're looking at it to say it's getting outrageous, but it's being priced in for the evolution of the economy and the world. Things are they have to go up because you can't keep charging it. The supply and demand is different.
And we printing more money.
Yeah.
But I understand that, but then like think about jobs. I think some of these jobs are still not, so I get the inflation, but then like the cost of living, like some, like our school district is giving a 1% cost of living. That's not a lot. But I mean,
you're still looking at it from in it. These young kids getting out of school, getting these tech jobs, they're making $100,000 or better coming out of the gate. Like the money that you made came out of the gate. That's not what they giving.
Terrible.
That's not what.
Right.
Like, they're not giving these kids that same amount of money like you did. They're giving
right.
them a
That's true.
whole lot of money when they come out of school. These kids are coming out making $120,000 to $150,000 a year. You know what I mean?
You're right, Franco. I mean, one of my sorority sisters, her daughter, she's graduating from Tech this upcoming Saturday. And then my little cousin that's graduating from Florida Gulf Coastal this Saturday as well. One of them was offered $60,000 coming out working for a marketing company, and the other one is an engineer. So she, I think, was between her mom said 75, 76. They both girls got sign-on bonuses, and I was thinking, oh God, when I finished my first degree, like the school system didn't have anything like that in place for us. But however, the cost of living looked different. Like I was still in my apartment, and my apartment on Gobby Road was like $500 a month. And you don't even see that on Gobby. Even Gobby Road is high now. Where it's just you're not going to see $500, $600 rent. And these kids don't have a problem paying my little cousins $1,800. They don't have a problem with that. To me, I'm grown and old, and I'm like, $1,800 for rent? That's ridiculous.
But see, you got to understand.
That's ridiculous.
It's just like Ray Dalio said, if you ever go read the book, The Cycle, we as elders do not produce money because we trying to hold on our money to get to the bar. See, them young people, they going to blow money and put back in the economy. They in the Gucci. They think Gucci is like our Jordans. So they in the high-end everything. They're spending money constantly. They're constantly balling out, doing whatever because that's the lifestyle they grew up in. So their money, you're being pushed out of you're in the gentrification phase. You ain't really worth the money. They need to get you up out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Funny.
Tell again, Franco, what's she in?
Gentrification. I can't.
Franco, you're right. That is exactly right. Because I be looking at those girls in the salon when they come get these wigs. You just don't understand how much
they spend a lot of money.
And I'm gonna spend $500 on that whole setup, like for a month.
And it's good for a week.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
This little boy, I was
2 weeks.
2 weeks to a month.
Probably 2 weeks
your
to a
last
month.
wig and installment last. It may not last you a month. That's $500 that you have.
But Franco, you are right about that.
You're right, Franco. We just needed to wake up.
Because look, Sequenta, I'm not woke. I'm not woke. Have y'all? It's a show. It's really good. I think it's on Hulu. I think it's Hulu, one of them. But it's this show called Woke, and I'm like, I don't think I'm woke because I just don't get it.
You don't have to be woke. You gotta realize the same path that your parents took is the ball. Like an old man told me one time, the ball don't never stop bouncing, and the way that means. It's gonna continue. The old people gonna continue to die. The people below the old people that took care of the old people gonna turn into the old people, and the young people gonna turn into the next, and that's gonna continue. The money gonna continue the same way. Same thing. Model T when it first came out was $400. Model T now, shit, $100,000. Everything is going to continue to move forward, even if you think it's staying still. That's just
I got a question. I got one question before we get off.
What's that?
Do you guys think that the rent will ever reverse and go back down? Like houses went back down, taxes and stuff went back down after 2008. You think the rent prices will ever go back down to?
I don't think so, Stacey. And it's crazy because these young people, they are willing to pay, like, and if you're gonna if y'all gonna pay the $1,800-$1,900, maybe we're just gonna take it up some more. I just don't see. I could foresee maybe the housing market maybe going back down. But that rent,
I don't think either the rent are gonna go back down because don't you get like, I don't know about apartments. I think maybe it is. Don't they do like an increase every so often? So it's
what did you say?
Steadily keep rising.
Think about it this way. And I think Stacey can answer it better, but I'm gonna give you the basic answer. If the price of living don't go down, and the workers still cost more, and the building got to be paid for somebody to work on, the supplies gonna still cost more. They're gonna have to charge more. It can't go. Everything is gonna continuously cost more because it cost for thought process. It costs more to do everything. So it's never going down. But Stacey can probably answer it more about what you just said than I can. But in a symptomatic form, it's never going back down.
Yeah, I think if the inflation keeps going up and, we continue to print more money, I think it's going to continue to go up just like everything else. So the way to beat inflation is to make more money.
It's a renter society. And they've been moving that. And like I said, anybody that owns property is winning right now because worst case, you can live in your own property. That's the absolute worst case. And, people are being pushed. These finances, the interest rates, all these things are pushing people to where they have no other options but to rent because the cost of ownership, even if the prices of homes come down, that does not mean that the cost of ownership comes down because restrictions, they already made the change on financial restrictions, credit restrictions, and stuff like that leading up to the pandemic. They made it harder for you to qualify for a loan. Now, even the interest rates are so high, even if you could qualify for a loan, you couldn't afford the payment. So they're steady inching it away. And I just saw a thing on the news a couple weeks ago about houses in Atlanta. This was national news. This was CNN, but they were in Atlanta looking at these neighborhoods up by Mall of Georgia, and these neighborhoods all had beautiful, almost brand new houses, and they were walking through, and they're like literally 75 to 80% of all these houses are owned by corporate companies and rented. That's correct. That is correct. So if you own a home, you are winning. Like I said, man, I'm beating myself upside the head over this right now because
I think it'll be back. I think the opportunity will be back for you to buy one.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, like the shirt, man. I'm putting options on all you stop.
What does your shirt say, Stacey? I'm on mine.
Too, bro.
It says, I'm putting options on all you stocks. Bank of America, Apple, Tesla,
You had your shirt made?
I made it.
Oh, you made it. So you around there making shirts too.
On the cricket. I had I asked this guy to make one for me, and it took forever and a day. I was holding my mule, but I couldn't hold him anymore. So
we probably asked the same person. You see these bags over here? I need these bags pressed for teacher appreciation, and it starts tomorrow. Y'all know what I'm gonna do.
Company and everything too. He owns a t-shirt company.
I'm gonna figure something out.
So before we get offline, let me just clear the air. Hold on, because y'all.
Whoa!
Wait a minute.
Expose yourself now.
I know, so maybe should this conversation be offline?
Real hollow, won't it?
You real hollow, won't
it? Excuse me. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
That's so petty.
First of all, Stacey does have a right to say so. But in all due defense, I made the shirt. I just messed it up and I sent him a picture of it. I just ain't had time.
Understood.
Second of all, Nicole, you asked on Friday for something that's due tomorrow. This ain't Burger King.
Oh, I did. I probably did. Yeah, it was.
It was. Get it your way. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you now. This ain't even Chipotle where it's fresh. You know what I'm saying? None of that. You know what I mean?
We didn't even say names, did we? No, we didn't even say nobody's name. But hit dogs definitely holler. They're gonna make sure.
Bull Mastiff, and I'm gonna bark loud. So
Hey,
so listen,
like I said,
so Franco, it's safe to say if you would have pledged in college, I'm for sure you probably would have been a member of Omega Psi Phi. I'm for sure that would have been.
Q-Dog, because they like the ball.
That's them.
That's Q-Dog.
That's Q-Dog.
Omega.
Yeah.
Omega Psi Phi.
Yeah,
I just use the Greek I use the Greek name.
Right. Delta Theta Sigma.
I've been a Kappa.
Kappa Psi.
I'm gonna buy me a cricket.
I would have been at all the parties, so y'all probably would have thought I had pledged everybody.
They had a horseshoe on one side and K on the other one.
And you had the horseshoe around the candy cane.
They had a horseshoe with a K going through the middle, a new one.
Oh man. All right, man. Well, good night, y'all. I'm gone.
All right.
See y'all later.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
All right, man. Well, we had a great night on Next Play, man. So I definitely want to thank everybody for coming out and joining us. Definitely catch us next week when we get a chance to talk about some other different things. We're going to be changing up and doing a lot of great movies and changes to what we actually doing with the show, trying to get everybody on the same page of understanding the role. So definitely thank you for coming out and joining us. And until next time, you have a wonderful week. I hope everybody makes some money in whatever you're doing and be positive, blessed, and everything else. Good night.